Hello, and welcome to my math project. Now you're probably asking yourself, why is this girl making a video for her math project? Well, I just love to make things more complicated for myself than they have to be. So, for my math project, I'm going to be splitting it up into 3 parts. The first one is disposition towards beauty, curiosity, and ending it off with creativity. Do you think math is beautiful? If you just said no, you're wrong. Math is beautiful in more ways than one. The one I will be talking about today is a little something called the quadratic formula. You might be like,
what is this girl on right now? How is the quadratic formula beautiful?
Hold your horses, give me a minute to explain. The quadratic formula is very versatile and it can be used for a multitude of reasons. For example, to determine a speed of an object, to know the value gained on a certain item or object, which I think is pretty cool and beautiful. Now, it's not just beautiful for what it can do, but it's also beautiful from the way it looks on the graph. Look at this parabola. Isn't it beautiful? It's smooth and elegant in a way, if you ask me. And, just a fun fact, parabolas can be found in different places in art. These are just some examples of parabolas in art, and aren't these pieces of art beautiful? Now, allow me to compare a parabola to something that our musicians might know a little something about. Do you know what this is? It's a grand piano. Now, pianos are considered a foundational instrument, and quadratic formula is considered to be a foundational part of mathematics. Just like parabolas, pianos show signs of symmetry. Now, this is more specifically in grand pianos, as they do this to help the distribution of sound. I would compare the parabola to a piano in the way that it's very smooth, elegant, as you can hear from the soft piano playing in the background. Math is beautiful and it can be found in multiple parts of our lives. Now, welcome to part 2. Now, this is where I'm going to be talking about curiosity, a problem that I was curious about and decided to do more research about. Now, allow us to look at this problem from the workbook. This problem covers something called proportional reasoning. As seen in this math problem, the nurse uses proportions in order to determine the correct ratio. Now, in this case, the ratio is from medicine to water. How much to dilute the medication with water. When she has to make a higher amount of mixture, she uses the same proportions that she used before in order to determine the correct amount of medicine to water ratio. This made me curious about the other ways that proportional reasoning is used in the medical field. Proportional reasoning is used in many different ways in the medical field. For example, getting an IV. Proportions can help determine the correct rate that the patient should be getting their fluids, as well as if the patient needs a higher dosage of medication or lower. This was brought up in the problem, however, I wanted to do more research on it. There is in fact an equation that deals with proportions and ratios in order to determine a dosage. As seen on the screen, this is the equation that they use. So as you can see, the first fraction has the dose you got over the volume you got equals the dose order over x, which is what you're solving for. This equation is filled once you know what the provider orders and what the nurse has supplied. Learning about proportional reasoning and how they use it in the medical field was very interesting to me. Now allow me to move on to part 3. Welcome, you've made it to the final part of my math project. Yes, I know you can see me through these sunglasses, okay? So, as I talked about in the beginning of this video, the third part of this video is going to cover creativity. Here, I'm going to go over an example of a mathematical idea that I found creative. What I'm going to be talking about is something called visualizing the problem. Certain problems can be a bit complicated, but I find that visualizing the problem is a creative way to solve it. We can use something called the tile. I don't have the tiles on me, so bear with me. The algebraic tiles have 3 parts. The first tile is a giant square, and this square is going to be worth x squared. Then you're going to have these skinny rectangles, and these are going to be worth x. Next, you're going to have these tiny little squares, which are going to be worth your ones. Now you can organize these tiles in a bunch of different ways to help you solve a problem. Let's say the problem is x plus 7 times x plus 2. This is the way that you would organize them. These algebraic tiles help you organize your factoring. It can make it easier to see the way that these factors are going to be multiplied. For many people, having a proper visualizer can help them understand and solve the problem. Give yourselves a round of applause. I will be giving myself a pat on the back. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my math project and maybe you learned a little something. Alright, bye. I'm leaving.